Hi and welcome to the tutorial of the Eleonora dress. Today I'm going to share how to make view C, the dress with sheared waist. Transfer all your notches and markings. Cut 2 small pieces of fusible interfacing and iron the interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric underneath the buttonhole markings. This is simply to stabilize the buttonholes and make sure that your fabric will last longer. Change to your buttonhole foot and make a test swatch. When you are happy with the result, sew the buttonholes on the right side of the fabric. This is what it looks like when the buttonholes are pressed and finished. You are now going to pre-press your neckline channel by folding down 5 mm, press and pressing another 3 cm. This step is a little fiddly as the front bodice will be larger than the folded seam allowance. The trick is to take your time using steam or a water spray bottle and press while you shape the folded seam allowance. Pin in place. Change to your regular presser foot and sew 3 separate seams on top of the markings to complete your shearing. Leave long thread tails and don't backstitch. Place the front bodice to back bodice, right side to right side. Sew the side seams with 1 cm seam allowance. Overlock and press the seam allowance towards the back. This is what your shearing looks like when it's finished and pressed. You will now pre-press your sleeve channel by folding up 5 mm, press, and then press another 3 cm. You are then going to unfold the pre-pressed hem, place the side seams of the sleeves right side to right side, and pin the side seams. To create the sleeve channel, you are going to edge stitch 1 to 2 mm from the edge and leave a small opening for the elastic. You will then sew another row 1 cm from the first to create the channel. Refer to the measurements in the instructions and cut your elastic for the sleeve channel. Walk the elastic through the opening using a safety pin. Close the elastic by overlapping 1 cm of the edges flat and stitch down both edges. Distribute the gathers evenly in the sleeve channel. Finish with stitching the opening closed. You are now going to insert the sleeve into the bodice by folding the sleeve on top of the bodice right side to right side. You will need to unpin the pre-pressed neckline channel to match the seam allowance. Start pinning the sleeves into the bodice at the upper edge and continue the whole way around. Making sure that the side seams of the sleeves and the bodice are matching. Sew your sleeve with 1 cm seam allowance, overlock the edges and press to the inside of the sleeve. Your bodice and your sleeves are now finished. Continue with your neckline channel and finish it by edge stitching 1 to 2 mm from the edge, and then another row at 1 cm, just like you did with the sleeves. For the neckline and the waist, you are going to need 4 ties. Every pair of ties will be attached to an elastic in the middle. You are going to walk the tie and the elastic through the neckline channel using a safety pin, just like you did with the sleeve channel. Your bodice is now finished. At this point, I recommend that you try it on and see if there's any changes you want to make before attaching the skirt. For this tutorial, I will be making the skirt without pockets. Sew the side seams with 1 cm seam allowance and overlock the seam allowance and press towards the back. I have also chosen to pre-press the hem by folding down 1 cm and then another 5 cm. Pin and sew the hem. Sew a basting stitch at the waistline of the skirt within the seam allowance of 1.3 cm. Hold the bobbin thread and gather the fabric carefully. When the skirt is matching the bodice, you are going to press the seam allowance at the waist because it makes the next step easier. With the right side of the bodice and the right side of the skirt, you are going to pin the waist seam allowance together. Place the bodice on top of the skirt. And pin the waist all the way around. This step is a little fiddly as there are a lot of fabric, but just take it slow and you'll get there. Sew the whole way around with 1.3 cm seam allowance. The waist is now attached. You are going to overlock the seam allowance and press it towards the top of the garment. Make sure to not trim off the seam allowance. To finish the waist channel, you are going to edge stitch the seam allowance upwards. To finish the Eleonora dress, place the last tie and elastic and walk it through the waistline channel the whole way around, just like you did with the neckline. Your Eleonora dress is now finished and ready to wear. Thank you for following my tutorial. Please follow me on Instagram at Silversaga Patterns. I see you soon. Bye!